One of the hardest things that cinematographers can do is try to coordinate and shoot a cinematic lovemaking scene. And that's where I come in. I am a video-focused boudoir shooter / cinematographer. And here's a few tips that I can give you guys on how to make your lovemaking scenes look better without it being too pornographic, if you catch my drift. Hi, my name is JC. I'm a cinematographer / director of photography over here in LA. I am mainly focused around romantic and warm style shooting between real couples and fictitious couples on movies. I have a few videos on Instagram that kind of, details my work. Heavily implied lovemaking, no nudity. None of it is ever going to be nude. I don't like full nudity in movies like this. I believe there is something tangible and sexy when it is a couple in their underwear or, slightly unclothed, but not to the full point of gratuitous nudity. I think the first thing that I really focused on was lighting and how to shape a scene around the two people who are going to be independently moving around the actual set. So if it's in a house, I'm going to take a lot of the practicals, put them on warm settings, and then not even have a key light. I usually just have a bunch of fill light in the background. For example, this scene here. I shot this scene by having outside lights on, which was just a happy accident, but I noticed how the light rays came through the blinds and created this shape against the wall. That's not a gobo, that's actual just lights outside. Then I lit a bunch of candles next to my actors, and those are real candles. Those aren't fake or, flame, whatever. It's just 3 of them. And then from there, I blasted a Pano 120C to camera right, and I bounced that into the ceiling to come back to my actors. And this created that obviously warmth across the entire scene. And then I turned all the lights off behind the camera because this way it kind of created this cove of shadow without any extra negative fill. And then I didn't really color it in post. I just kind of left it as is. I think I raised the shadows to make sure nothing was crushed. But other than that, it's pretty bare bones, right? It's 1, 2, maybe 3 lights, not placed near me, but placed near the actors. And then from there, I didn't have an intimacy coordinator. These two are an actual couple, but they're also professionally trained actors in corn. Catch my drift. So take that for what it's worth. They're professional. And working with them, it made me really think of how can I take this to other shoots and explain to them the process. So having an intimacy coordinator is the first thing, right? Bring everybody into a room, going over the script, going over the specific scenes without it being too choreographed, explaining the boundaries that you have as an actor or actress, saying, I'm okay with this, but I'm not okay with that. And that's the first thing. From there, we can kind of set everything else up, right? Like, let's create a set where if the actors are going to be moving, let's not have anything that's sharp near them. I know this is kind of like common sense, but like it makes sense, right? In a safety aspect. If my 2 actors are going to be physically manipulating each other around, let's try to keep the set safe for everybody. The atmosphere plays a big part too. You don't want to have a unsexy background if you can avoid it. You can make dirty look sexy, but it takes a lot more work and respect to the actual area to make it sexy. But if your focus is mainly on the 2 subjects, then you don't really necessarily have to worry about everything in the background. I think a big issue with modern movies and lovemaking is that they're too centered on the male gaze, and it kind of turns people away from cinema, men and women, if it's just too gonzo style or if it's too aggressive. If you catch my drift, everybody loves to watch romantic scenes. Everybody wants to feel the warmth and excitement of a couple, making love or making out or kissing on screen. But not everybody really wants to watch some crazy hardcore style sex scene like 50 Shades of Grey or 365 or, stuff like that, where it's a smut book brought to life, but it's not really that great to watch, besides the plot. But how do you take a smut scene from a book and then turn it into a live action scene and still keeping the source material and still keeping it ambiguous to who it's centered towards? if you focus too much on a male gaze, you're going to lose a lot of that personality that I would say a woman author wrote into the script. My first thing when I do go to pre-plan is I talk to a woman first. I get their aspect on it. I listen to their feedback. I listen to what they personally think is good, what they personally don't think is good. And obviously everybody has different opinions, but as a man, I don't have a woman's perspective, and I never will. I can try, but it's not how it's going to work. So all my shoots are collaborative in nature. If I'm doing a lovemaking scene, I bring a woman in first. I'd rather have a woman intimacy coordinator than I would a man, just because we know over years Hollywood has exploited women and sexualized them. And yes, I understand it has happened to men, but it's happened more frequently to women. So I'm going to be there specifically to protect a woman more than I am a man. Just the nature of the beast. We stick up for women in this household. We care about women in this household. And that's how it's always going to be. So the first thing is I hire on a woman intimacy coordinator. From there, we go over the shots. And then from there, we're not going to choreograph everything about the shot. I feel like that kind of takes away from the actual intimacy. So the idea is we create boundaries specifically of saying this is my do's and do nots. From there, we don't cross that line. And then you don't need to necessarily make a love scene 4, 5, 10, whatever minutes. You can literally make it like 30 seconds. Make out, a little grab, soft lighting, and that's it. This whole like gratuitous nudity and everything else that goes into it, I don't believe that's necessary to fulfill a plot. I feel like that's more just for, the looks and the marketing of like, oh, we have this actress or this actor and they're shirtless or they're, naked and whatever else. Don't get me wrong, that's hot. But that's not my focus. I don't care about showing nudity. If you want to see nudity, go on Reddit or go on the hub and go do that. But I'm here to create a fantasy, and then I'm here to make you think more about the fantasy afterwards. And I'm not going to give you all the details and give you all the secrets. It's basically like you go to watch it with your spouse or something, and you're like, want to do that? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like if you see something, that's pretty hot. You want to try to recreate that? That's kind of how my thought is. Like, you can literally take you and your spouse or your significant other, and you can put yourself in that scene, and now you are living and recreating that scene more than you are just watching it. You're now experiencing it. So, kind of just my idea.